With the text to give, I do want to show you, if you are the giver and you wanted to do text to give, and let's say you text the number, you text your thing, your code, your amount, you do all that, and it gives you just the link to engage. What that's telling them is they haven't set up the system with us. In other words, who are you? What bank information do you want us to give it from? I mean, you could say you want to give all day long, right? Until they actually know the credit card information, can't work. So it's going to ask them to log in so that you can get the information. In this giving profile that they have here, you can make your email address as a primary, but there is this section that says phone number for text to give. You want to put in your phone number. So if I was to put this in and actually type, now if I was to give that, and hold on, we'll gotta wait for my validation. Hey, it didn't take very long. 254. So what is this doing? This is connecting my device to engage. Why is that important? Well, if my husband gets it and he uses his phone to give, they don't know who he is. And they don't know what payment type, they know nothing. But now I've got it set up. So now if I go and I give, well, before I leave this window, I could also say I want you to put my fee assist by default on everything, or just engage gifts, or just text gifts by default, so I don't have to do that. That's why that option's there. But because I don't remember the number, let's go text giving. All right, so this is my text to give number. So I'm going to text 859-429-5950. And then I'm going to text mission 10. Now, we had it set, I was going to set it to where you could see it on my computer. By the time we do mobile, we'll have it working. I just need my cable that isn't here because my computer doesn't have enough of an update. So when I send that, it's going to send me back a thing and just say, reply yes to give $10 to missions. It didn't give me the link. The reason it didn't give me the link is because it knows who I am, because I set everything up in my profile. If I hadn't done that, it would give me the link and it would connect it at that point. Does that make sense? And the reason for that, it would be like that with anybody. How would it know where to pull the money from? What bank account? Who are you? You know, well, I have my payment method saved. Why can't it find it? Because it doesn't know who I am. So now, because I connected my device to my Engage account, I have this. And I have a payment saved. So I can click yes, and because it says, reply yes to give $10 to missions from your test card account. When I said yes, submitting my gift, and then I'll get a confirmation. It is that easy. It even tells you that the email confirmation was sent to, and it gives my email address that I set up as a primary. So text to give is very simple, but the key is making sure the device is connected to Engage or it doesn't know who you are. Does that make sense to everybody? I wanted to show you that, and so that you guys could see why maybe you're getting a link if you text your text to give phone numbers, because you've never done it before from that device and it doesn't know it. Okay? Any questions on that before we move on? So Engage setup is very simple. It really isn't hard. It seems like a lot, but just walk through the little things. If you don't see a giving fund that you want to have available, chances are you don't have it created in CDM, and we'll go over that tomorrow. Anything you have in CDM, if it's not in the order that you want, so you have your list of funds and it's not in the order that you want, that's because it's CDM has got it in that order. Change your order, and then you'll be okay. So it feeds Engage as far as all of that goes. Now, I was talking earlier about that's going out to the internet and doing it and clicking. And if you are not on 12.1, that's what you have to do in order to get it, okay? However, if you're on 12.1, there's my confirmation, by the way, with it, and it gives me the source that tells me they text to give. With 12.1, all of the setup, making sure things are set as administration and all of that, you don't need. You can simply go up to Program. Down here, you'll see Engage. And you have some options, Open, CDM plus Engage. That's going to take you online to the internet where you will need a login. And if you're not an administrator, it doesn't have it. So, I mean, it is good to have. But that's what that one is. But Settings takes you right to the Settings window inside the CDM Plus program. Unless it does it like that, then you just do this again and hope. So it takes me right to exactly where I was online. Notice this look a little familiar? I didn't have to go to the internet. I didn't have to log in. I didn't have to do anything like that. And I have that right here. Okay. Same goes for, search transactions, which I do want to talk very briefly about this. Those of you who have used CDM for a while, remember going to Web Ministry Tools and clicking on Payment Administration. Payment Administration is no longer that. And we would get calls, Payment Administration, you click it, and take them to Engage, and they panic. What is this? Search transaction is Payment Administration, is the best way to look at it, okay? So if I wanted to look in here, and you click on I'm in Search Transactions, and I want to look at everything that happened this week. Let's do yesterday and today, and I click Search. It's going to go through, and it's going to give me all of the gifts that have happened within that search, that date range. Notice our 2 gifts. And in here, there are a couple of things. Obviously, the status says processing. We just did it. And it has a transaction date. That's the date that it was done. Then it has the settlement date. When that's populated, that means it's hit your bank account. Okay? So if you question, hey, I don't see anything. I know they gave, I don't see anything. And you look and there's no settlement date. It hasn't hit your bank account yet. It's a great way to know, one of the ways you can tell. And that settlement date is the date that it hits your bank account. Give or take one day ahead or one day back if timing. So I have seen banks, like I know mine at the church, every once in a while, for whatever the reason, my bank wants to put it for the next day. I don't know if it gets sent later, but that can happen. So all that will change as it's done, as it finishes through. If you were to click on details, you're going to get details of that particular gift. Who it was that gave, what their name is, their address, what type of card they used, how they named. So you have all this information that's showing in there. Notice the deposit and process ledger, like none of that's there because it hasn't hit my bank. So I haven't even had a chance to do it in deposit processing and so on. So in CDM, it's just giving you all that information. It's very simple, but it's good to have because it's a great way to search for things. If they've given it that way, it's going to show. Even if they have given and it got declined, you don't see it in CDM. If you've ever searched in search transactions and you look for something and you're like, where are all of these gifts? But they say declined, that's because they were declined. You can see that they did it, but it won't hit your deposit processing and things like that because it didn't hit your bank. And your return for ACH is totally different story because obviously ACH returns, it hits your bank first, right? And then it gets returned later for insufficient funds and stuff, if that isn't an SF issue. But in general, you'll see it if the attempts that they've made in there, okay? Then there's, I guess I should close these. Under engage, then you have engage giving statements. When we do contributions, we will talk about this at the same time as we talk about printing statements, okay? But the point that I want to make with this, you can now, in 12.1 or later, you can access CDM Engage from inside the program. And I think that is an awesome thing to have. Exactly. They're all like laughing. It really is. When you have to like log out or go out to the internet, log in, go there, to be able to do it right here in the program is just awesome. It's just a great thing. The other thing that you can do when it comes to Engage, if you go into their individual record, if I can read, you can see their Engage account. Now, if I'm in the individual record, I can only see their profile information, not their giving information. We can see that through my giving unit. So if I'm in here and I have access to it, when I click on Engage, it's going to open up as if I am logged in as Jennifer. All right. I say it that way because where this is important, not everybody needs to have this information at their fingertips. Not necessarily for individual records. Let's go to the giving unit. When you click on this Engage account, it is as if you are logged in as that giver. Okay? That means you have access to the payment information. So you see why you want to be very careful who has permission to access Engage settings or Engage inside the administration. Because it's just got all that information in here. Their giving history, all that kind of stuff. But my thing personally is just knowing what they have access to. That all being said, you do have access to it as if you're logged in. You might not run into this as much in state offices, but you got some people who just can't give. They want to give. They don't know what to do. They're struggling. I see this with a lot. No hits on anybody, but you get a lot of older people that will call their churches and say, I want to give online. I can't do it. Can you just do it for me? Here's my information. And so now, yeah, I absolutely can do that for you. Go to their giving unit, click on Engage. I can give because I'm logged in as that person, right? And so I can go in here. I can walk through the entire process as if I am logged in online as that person. So if they do give you that information and they want you to do that for them, you absolutely can do that through this Engage tab under that giving unit record. Does that make sense? Now, that being said, there is an Engage tab on the giving unit record. There's an Engage tab on the individual record. And there's one on, I believe it's the receivables record. If I'm on the individual record, I cannot access giving. Notice if I'm on the giving unit record, the only thing I have access to is giving. So just think where I'm at, that's where I'm going to be able to, that's the part of Engage that I'll be able to get for them. Okay? So it's really cool to have, but it also is just a lot of information available at your fingertips with that.